Alright, let's go, friend. We want Mashiach, we want Mashiach, we want Mashiach, we want Mashiach now. We want Mashiach, we want Mashiach, we want Mashiach, we want Mashiach now. We want Mashiach, we want Mashiach now. We want Mashiach, we want Mashiach now. We want Mashiach, we want Mashiach. Oh, we want Mashiach now. Now, okay. Tomorrow morning I have to go. Baruch Hashem, I have to go to a simcha, to a bris. So we can't learn tomorrow morning. But I mean, you could learn obviously, but not. Won't be here to be able to do a shir together. So this will be the last one that we have. Baruch Hashem, more tefillahs came in. I'll be sending out tonight the actual. We'll put it together somehow. Some of the most beautiful outpouring of the heart of people praying over Ahavat Israel was shared. It's very, very inspiring. You still have a few hours to send it in. Those that are wearing, that are learning with us online, have been also sending in a lot of beautiful, beautiful stuff. So today we're going to conclude with a very. I found this to be exactly perfect for what we're getting together and doing here. It's almost like last time we realized that we're very privileged to have certain people in our lives that don't, what did Tom say? They don't require much. That they're there in your life, but it's not this feeling of they need something from me, or I need something from them, and thus therefore there's a friendship, but rather just the fact that we're in each other's lives somehow plays a very big role in our lives. Today what we're going to be saying is how chaverut, the friendship, is something that we don't usually realize that we're taking advantage of, or we don't even really understand why we have friends and what we have friends for. Like if I asked us right now in the room, do you feel like our chaver here, like we have a lot of friends? So probably we'd say yes, especially here. We've been focusing on that and working on that to be conscious of it, that we live in a community that the friendships are very real and we learn together and we daven together. But there's one important thing to remember while we're in this journey of chaverus. Good morning, Ari. And that's that. Do you understand that chaverut, that friendship, is a key part of avodas Hashem? It's a key part in just like davening is, just like giving tzedakah is part of avodat Hashem, just like almost everything that we do, all religious symbolism. There's all these things that are part of avodat Hashem. The role of the chaver, the role of having a friend, especially by Reb Nachman and Breslov, it's very, very big. The role of a friendship is a key, essential factor in this whole big picture called avodat Hashem. So, for this, this is exactly what we're going to be focusing right now. And unfortunately, I have to dedicate the shir this morning to a very, very close friend of mine. Some of us knew here, who died over Shabbos. Chaim Yitzchak ben, it was Leah. I guess now it's Ben Avraham, who was struggling so much. He was struggling so much, and he wanted chaverim. He had friends, and obviously in times like this, you always feel you could do more. So anyway, I just want to do this leilui nishmasa, to do this for the elevation of his soul, and to him nishmasa tzrura b'tzrura chaim. Very, very, very special person. He's been in here, he's davened with us in here, he's learned with us in here. Yossi knew him, Itamar knew him. Anyway, he should be a Melitz Yosha and Shemaim for all those who are seeking real friendships. That we shouldn't be embarrassed to show up as a friend, especially when we're not sure how to be a friend. Just showing up is sometimes 90% of how to be a friend. Just showing up. So look what it says here. La'ahava yesh hamon koach. Love has a lot of strength. Bekocha shel ha'ahava mitkayem ha'olam. With love, through the power of love, the world exists. Mukamot mishpachot. Families are erected. Gdelim anashim, people grow up through love. Mitpatchim mosdot umifalim, institutions, all types of functions are developed through love. נכתבים ספרים ומושרים שירים. Books are written, songs are sung, והכל מהמנוע של האהבה. And it's all driven by this concept called love. כל אחד מאיתנו זקוק לאהבה. Each one of us needs love. ולתחושת חום בקרבה, and a feeling of warmth and closeness. כדי לחיות, in order to live, אם נרגיש שאין מי שאוהב אותנו ואכפת לו מאיתנו, נתמלא בבדידות וניפול לעצבות. If we feel that there's no one that loves us or truly cares for us, falling into depression would be the consequence. Falling into sadness and depression. כוחה של האהבה בא לידי ביטוי בחברות. Love is expressed through friendships. So, I asked before, how many of us feel like we have friends? So it's very easy to say that we feel like we have a lot of friendships. But, and this is going to tie us into the Chabura, right? What about, do you feel love that comes out of friendships, or it's just a really good sense that with the boys, we got something going? You hear that there's a distance there. One thing is, I'm with the boys, we got something going. That's one thing. And that's beautiful, and that's a privilege. But what about, do you feel the love from the boys? We got something going. So we're gonna figure out what that means today. And it could be that we do. I'm not saying we don't. I'm talking about our chavri here. It could be that we do.
You know, Shimi had made a Shalshodas last night. Mamish spoke exactly on this point, and he said it's amazing, you know, our chavra, we're a huggy bunch, and we say I love you all the time, and hanging out and eating meat in the vineyard, and it's great. But like when there is pain, suffering, or you know, money, God forbid, runs out, and there's war, and like goes up, do we really feel the love? Right. And so it's important to feel the love now. No. And not just say it.
Or wait for those instances to take place. To see if you love. Right. Nachon. That's the ultimate goal. If you're not being pushed and shoved in order to express something, does it sprout out naturally?
But why is it so important to express it before it's needed? Meaning, when it's needed, if it's so readily there, it means that it was there before it was needed.
Could be. We don't know. But the person,
someone may need to feel it.
Yeah, someone that needs to feel it in order to know if it's there, that means there's something that's not there. Right? If you need to check, I know I have friends, but do I have love? So that means that there's something in the inherent yachasim, relationship, that could be, needs to be checked in. Needs to be mevurar. Needs to be clarified.
I know, some notes post on the
group, that was
so, and it was like, that's post, not an expression that this is a loving group.
No, because you know what? That guy loves. That person loves Noach. You guys know what message he's talking about? That after when he flew back to America, did you see it, Jeremy? Wow, that was amazing. That message was amazing.
So you could say, we could all say, I love you, brother, but like when you read that and you see, it's not just that he loves, it's he recognizes that he's loved. So it's
absolutely, and it's real there. Yeah, Baruch Hashem. Yeah, that was a very inspiring note. That was like a tahara for like 99% of our WhatsApps. You know, that was like such a mikvah that just like, you know, went through like so much of our WhatsApp usage, just this using it b'kedusha, elevating it. Yeah, so beautiful. So second paragraph, kocha shel ahava bא לידי ביטוי בחברות. חבר טוב הוא מקור לשמחה. A good friend is a source for happiness, לכוח, he's a source for strength, ולהצלחה. You know, I have mamish, I could say that there's certain people in my life that they are exactly what he said over here. Chaver tov hu makor lesimcha. It's a source of simcha. It's a makor for strength. That knowing that they're there, one phone call, I don't have to check, like we said before, I don't have to check to see, well, do I still feel like this from this person? They are pillars of strength for me. And for Atzlacha, and they truly, truly want me to be matzliach, and their ratzon for me to be matzliach is sometimes 50% of what actually brings to any Atzlacha. It's mamish like that. And people that suffer so much, People that feel like they don't have anyone in the world that can provide for them strength. That's really sad. It's mamish painful. כפי שאמרו חז"ל, איזוהי דרך ישרה שידבק באדם. This is what it says in Pirkei Avos. What is the right, good way that a person should cling to? Rabbi Yeshua Omer, chaver tov. You'd think he would say, like, you know, avodas Hashem, or tefillah, or limud Torah. What does he say here? Derech tova sheidbak ba'adam. You want to walk, you want to go through this world in a derech tova. You do whatever it is to find that one friend. Chaver tov. החבר הטוב הוא העצה של רבי יהושע לחיים טובים, וזה נכון בחיים בכלל, וזה גם נכון, it's true for life, וזה גם נכון בחיי עבודת השם. But it's not just for life, he's saying. He's saying a religious experience is tasted in a deeper way through having a chaver tov. It's not just this good idea that you should have in life. It's that all these things that we put into the category of Hashem and Torah and mitzvahs, that's why it says, O chevruta. Does anyone know how to finish that line? O mituta. The statement in Chazal says, either you have a chevrusa or you have death. So that's a very hard statement, because what if I don't have a chavrusa recently in life? So it doesn't just mean having a chavrusa that you learn Baba Metzia with, obviously. It means a chavrusa that you could have a life chavrusa. A life chavrusa, walking through this very, very, very clear and non-confusing world, right? Walking through, I don't know, isn't it amazing that it used to be that to say, I don't know anything was like a cool thing to say, right? Now it's like, to say, I just don't know anything is like the only thing that's left to say about anything. I just don't know anything, right? So, it's not that you have a chavrusa that can come and tell you everything. It's you need a chavrusa that also says, well, I don't know anything. Let's not know anything together and figure it out together. That's really where we're at right now, right? מי שרוצה להתקדם בעבודת השם ולעבוד את השם באמת. Whoever wants to go forward in Avodat Hashem and to really serve Hashem, zakuk lechaver o chabura. I promise you that I did not wait this whole time so we could end off with Amamish. This is just how it came out. He's saying you need a chaver or you need a chabura in order to what? Lihitkadem ba'avodat Hashem. To let's say, Rosh Hashanah is going to come around the corner. Take a look back at this last year. So, this last year, did I go forward at all? Was there any real growth that I could say, there was, that took place in my life? So we all want to be able to say that Rosh Hashanah, El is going to come, Rosh Hashanah is going to come. Yes, this year I leaped forward. And it probably won't be how many Sfarim I finished, to determine the answer to that question. What we're looking for is a general sense that what I've infused my life with is this hargasha of kadima, yala. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily like usually you ask that question, so did you move forward in your life? So you'll probably say, yes, I cut down on this, or now those are all good things, those are all good nikudot, but that's not what we're asking. We're meaning, was there a sense of my whole, that my experience here is kadima, yalla, forward, just forward. I still slack off in a million things, maybe not. But the general sense of kadima, so that answer of kadima, that I moved forward, I went there, whatever that means, is done through the avoda of a chaver, or a chabura. Now why do you think that is? Why is that thing, that to answer that question of, I could say, I moved forward, why is that done, or how do you know more through a chaver or a chabura? That's how it's the answer to that question.
It gives you momentum. It gives you something to grab onto, especially a group.
Right.
It's like a flowing river. You're just,
right.
on board, and the whole group will push each other forward.
What else?
So you check yourself.
Yeah, that's one.
Authentic.
It's like if you trust someone enough, you'll allow their, hey brother, checking in, it seems like you're slacking off here, and I know you have my back, so I have your back. So when you're open enough to create that, when there's a sense of emun, when there's enough trust, in a real friendship, and there's mamish love there, right? And we're open enough to hear, I don't want to say critique, I want to say just checking in. So then, how do you do that alone? You can't do that alone. As much as we'd love to say, I check in with myself enough, right? Come on. Really, it's impossible. But what's so hard is to develop an emun, a trust amongst a group of guys, which, if you remember, that's what the Piasetzner was telling us every single shir in Bnei Machshava Tova. That is the point of the Chabura, to create this trust center amongst people through Talmud Torah, through Dvekas, through davening, through doing all the holy and right things, but to create enough trust amongst friends that you could say that, you could check in, and it's okay. In fact, it's welcomed. It's welcomed, which seems like almost impossible in the ego world that we live in, that we'd actually welcome it, and we would trust it. We to be politically correct, we say, yeah, I want a friend that'll rip me into shreds, right? And then when that happens, you want to rip the guy into shreds. But we say, no, I want a friend. It's a high level to be open enough to hear crucial words of love that make you check in life. It's very hard. It's a very high level. Again, it's something we would love to say, that we welcome in and we invite, but it doesn't happen that fast. It doesn't happen that fast. And then when it does happen, it takes a lot to swallow it.
There's levels of it, I think, And especially as a Chabura, I think maybe the first, second, third, or fourth time is different than the times after that.
Hopefully, yeah, hopefully.
And the more people are there for each other, and the more people realize that, the more open they are and accepting and willing to hear it,
Yeah, listen, trust is something that doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. But it takes another word. What's that other word that you guys really don't want to hear? Commitment. It means showing up all the time. It's the only way what we're trying to do is going to work. I can't believe that you guys are still here, the two of you. No, I'm being serious. I am being serious. These two cats, I cannot believe. You've inspired me, honestly. I I would have put all the money in the world that there's no, especially you.
Yeah. Because of me.
Especially you. You're the last cat I thought would stay here. Honestly, it's like, it's frightening. But but really, it's all of us. Like, I know we come, we check in once in a while. Like, this work, it's commitment. And that's what Ella is going to be. It's going to be commitment. Like, those that signed up, those that came and come a little bit and then don't come, you'll see that the rest of the chevra that are here on a daily basis are going to be up here. Why? Not because we got holier, but because the circle of trust will go up with those that are there, with those that are committed. That's what will happen. It's not an Indian of that those chaverim, they got holier, they learn more. It's never. That's not the case at all, ever. It's that the trust, the feeling of, this is my circle of growth. That you feel it, you're in it together. Yeah, and that's the work. That's the real work that needs to be. And that's why, I think that essentially kollels, in the past were probably, the reason why there was a need to check in and everything. It wasn't just that they could justify the money that they received if it was stipends. I would hope to think that it was also the sense of, growing together in any format of a religious circle has to have that. It entails that pocket of commitment. Now, life is only going to get more busier. Not because you spend more time learning. Because of everything else that happens. When you spend more time learning together, and this is not a pitch, but it's just simple, you actually have much more time for everything else. No one buys what I just said. You end up...
The more time you lose. That's who's shepherd, what was his name?
The guy from Tapua, that sold Ferraris. And
oh, yeah. It's true. It's true.
So if you dedicate the time to learning more, it shifts the whole day.
So anyway, okay, we'll go back into inside over here. This third paragraph. Torat HaChasidut hidgisha me'od והעלתה על נס את הכוח של חברים וחבורה. The whole world of Hasidus, it emphasized this nakuda tremendously of the power and strength of Chaverim and Chabura. People think that Hasidus was always about whatever, we're by the Rebbe, and when we're not by the Rebbe, we just wait till hear the Rebbe the next time. And it's not true. In Breslov, that's such an important thing of a Sichas Chaverim. You know, Jerry and I use that word a lot. Jerry says it a lot. Sichas Chaverim, how important that is. But also in Lubavitch, you know, after the Rebbe would speak, right? So then, what do you think? He spoke all the time, all day long? It didn't happen every day. They would get together and fabring. What is a fabringen? You think if fabringen was, let's see who could just get up and tell a good story? It was each person around that table saying, this is what I feel, this is what I feel. It was such an important element of Avodat Hashem. Me'az u'me'olam, Chasidim hem mishpacha. And it's true. Chasidim, to Chasidim, it's literally family. It's a sense of family. U'me'od ohavim v'doagim ze lezeh. And they truly love and take care of each other.
Unless they're from a different sect.
Thank you.
And they hate each other.
Oy vey.
Is it not true?
היו אפילו מקומות בהם החסידים חיו במעין חיים קיבוצים של שותפות כלכלית. There were also places where Hasidim lived together in some kind of a קיבוצים של שותפות כלכלית, some kind of like a well, like communism, yeah. I don't want to say it, but like,
just
you know.
quickly on what Avi said, I think
Yeah.
the definition of Hasidim here is different than how we interpret. The Hasidim is a different interpretation than the sex of Hasidim.
Right. No, I mean, he knows that too. Yeah.
I think he was saying that.
No. It has to do with the Shabbos conversation we had. No, he knows it. I didn't ignore Avi Miller. Trust me. It's impossible for me to do that.
I don't know what's gotten into this Canadian.
Yeah, that's so non-Canadian of you to say that. Kobe, what happened to him?
Montreal.
Yeah, it's not Winnipeg, you know. Yeah.
Separatists.
היו גם חסידים שהתאגדו לחבורות של עובדי השם. There was like chaburas that would get together. They were like the chaburas of Ovdei Hashem. עם כללים ומטרות מיוחדות לחברה. With specific rules and generalization and matarot and purposes of a chabura. במקורות הבאים נראה מעט מההסברים וההדרכות של תורת החסידות בעניין החברות והחבורה בעבודת השם. So he says in the next few pieces we'll see actual guidelines to Rabbi telling their students, oh, I see you want more than just going to a kollel or just going to yeshiva or just getting up for shul and, you know, or reading a strong mimer over Shabbos. You actually want more. You actually want more. So let's give some guidelines. So this letter that's in front of us over here is from Rabbi Menachem Mendel of Vitebsk. Did anyone of you ever hear of Rabbi Menachem Mendel of Vitebsk? He made Aliyah. He was the first one that actually made Aliyah. He's buried in Tveria. He was a Talmud of the Magid of Mezrich. He was one of the best friends of the Alter Rebbe, and him and the Alter Rebbe and another tzaddik whose name is Rabbi Avram of Kalisk, the Kalisker. They started journeying to make Aliyah towards the end of the 18th century. So what should you be asking right now when I said that the three of them started making Aliyah? One of them didn't make it here. 2 out of 3 made it here. The Alter Rebbe was mamish on his way to make Aliyah with them. What ended up happening by that time, he was already, you know, what happened with Lubavitch, he already set it up. It was already, there were so many Hasidim already of his all over the place. The villages that he went, one after the other, he saw where I cannot leave. They're not going to come with me right now. It's impossible.
Why?
By then it was just Yechidim that could have done it. You couldn't, they didn't, by the way, Reb Mendel of Vitebsk, their groups didn't, they started from here. You could put that demand on peoples in the 18th century to do that. But he's like, a shepherd doesn't leave his flock. And he already established the flock. They were there already. Now, don't roll me with those Zionist eyes right now. Don't give me those Zionist eyes.
Avram left his flock, right? He left Haran. He had a whole thing going on there, and he left. That worked out.
Right now.
Huh? Pragmatism. The Alter Rebbe felt, listen, I don't think the Alter Rebbe needs any of us to defend him. And I definitely don't need to defend the Alter Rebbe. But if there's anyone that made sure that Reb Avram of Kalisk and the Reb Mendel of Vitebsk could set up shop in Eretz Yisrael, for Chassidus in Eretz Yisrael, it was the Alter Rebbe. Because what he was doing is that he was networking tzedakah throughout the whole area while they went to Eretz Yisrael, telling the Chassidim, you could set up shop for Chassidus and all these things. What's the most important thing you got to do if you're here? Set up the Karen Tzedakah to go to Eretz Yisrael. And in fact, who quotes this? The Eim Abanim Smecha. In his sefer, that important Rav Techtel, Hashem Yikom Damo Zecher Tzaddik Kodesh Livracha, he's the one that stresses this in the beginning. He learns out the importance of being in Eretz Yisrael from the Alter Rebbe's letters that he wrote to his Chassidim regarding the Karen Tzedakah that was formed in order to keep the Chassidim here alive, basically. But anyway, Reb Mendel of Vitebsk ends up here. Eli Stone, you know Eli that learns with us. Eli, the Balabait, you see him on Shabbos, he's constantly carrying the Sefer Pri Haaretz. Pri Haaretz is Reb Mendel Vitebsk's Sefer. And he was told by his Rebbe, Reb Usher, Zatzal, to always learn that Sefer and the Chidush Yarim. And Mamish, you see Eli carries those two Svarim all the time, the Pri Haaretz and the Chidush Yarim. So when you see the Pri Haaretz next time, that's Reb Mendel Vitebsk's Sefer. But we're just going to scan through it really, really fast, because I wanted to get to the next piece. Ahavat chaverim gdola yoter mikol hamusarim. More than all musar someone can give you, loving your chaverim is the most important thing you should be makpid on. Kasher yesaper ish el re'ehu behigid lo et kol libo atzas hayetzer asher bekirbo. When a person tells his friend how his yetzer hara is shechting him alive, hine adibur be'atzmo poel yeshuot. Just saying that out loud is already half a yeshua for the person. Did you guys ever experience that?
Yes. I've told you a few times.
Yeah. Anyone else ever experienced that when you share with a friend that the love and trust is right there, what your mom is going through, like what's killing you inside, like nisyonos with your yetzer hara, and you notice that the second that you shared it with the chaver, it was already like you felt half of the Yeshua already.
More than half.
Yeah? So unfortunately, not everyone here said yes. No, it's not a shtar.
Yes, it's very important.
I've been doing
many
it for
times,
years.
and we've said this before. It's shedding light on darkness.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that is. The Yetzer doesn't want.
Right.
The Yetzer wants to stay in your head. And
Right.
So when you share it with a friend, it all of a sudden picks up the curtains. It's like, okay, wait a second. Oops, you're not supposed to really do that.
Right.
Yetzer was crazy with that stuff.
Right.
And that's like the power of when you have meetings or AA or like
Sure,
one
sure,
of the principles
sure.
is that.
Sure, nachon. So that's one of the things he says. And then he also, he goes off, he comes over to say here, this is how you fulfill avas, v'afta l'recha kamocha. It's for them, this is the way you're kona the rest of the Torah. He says here something beautiful, that through avas chavim, through v'afta l'recha kamocha, you could kona, you could acquire the rest of the Torah. The gateway for all those other things we want in Torah and avodas Hashem is through v'afta l'recha kamocha. And then at the bottom over here he says, klala de milta v'ikara de sharsha de chola. See the third paragraph on the bottom. Klal hadavar ve'ikar ve'shoresh hakol amru rabotenu zal lo matza kadosh baruch hu kli machzik bracha liYisrael ela hasholem ve'achdus. The only vessel where Hashem said I could put a bracha in is when there's achdus, when there's shalom, when there's love between friends. Then that's a vessel that I could put bracha into. So you can't create a vessel if it's just you. You have to hold someone's hand. That's by the way, Rabbi Shlomo's very famous Torah. He says that what brought us back to Yerushalayim wasn't what we saw when we left Yerushalayim, because what we saw when we left Yerushalayim was churban. What we saw was God basically saying, "I hate you." That's what it looked like, right? He said what brought us back is that we held each other's hands while the churban was taking place. And in Hebrew, the most beautiful word that I find that we start Shabbos with and we kind of end Shabbos with is the word Yedid. Yedid Nefesh. We say Kabbalah before Kabbalah, and we say it Shal Shadis too. And in Slonim they say Yedid comes from the word, two words, Yad and Yad. Yedid, that's what a real friend is. It's not just someone that I know is there. It's someone that you feel is holding your hand. And ultimately, our goal is through all of our yedidus nefesh. Like we say in the Smiros, ma yedidus menuchasech ad Shabbos Hamalka. What? The friendship of the menucha that you give me, this is what you are, Shabbos Hamalka. No matter what happens to me during the week, I feel like you're holding my hand, Hashem, Friday night. Can't explain it, but it's there. Anyway, that's this letter, which I didn't want to go too much into because I want to dafka go in to the next page. Now look at the next. On you guys, and your thing, it's the next side. Now this is good chazar for us, and this is why I love this Chabad booklet, because he brings in the Bnei Machshava Tova here. He brings in the Bnei Machshava Tova. And it's a good thing to remind us how we even got involved in all of this and where we're heading. Mefaret Rebbe mepiasetzna et matrot v'darkei ha'peula shel ha'chabura ha'machshava tova. He gives clear instructions here, the Piasetzna Rebbe, to what a chabura, his chabura, is all about. B'makor haba nir'eh nekuda achat ma'adrachotav b'inyan hazeh. We're going to look at just one of the things that the Heilige Eish Kodesh Chlusia Gan Aleinu Replonimus Kalman Shapira Hashem Yikom Damo Zecher Tzadik V'Kodesh Livrocha is saying. Al Shlosha Dvarim HaChevraya HaKadosha Omedet. What's that a take on? That Lashon? Ha'olam Omed. Al Shlodim Ha'olam Omed. Remember the Mishnah says, right? But no. You should know. Chevraya Kadisha was a term they used to call like Baal Shem Tov's Chasidim the Chevra Kadisha. That's just the way, because what does it mean? A holy group of people. Today, it's unfortunately just used when you think of someone that's dead. Yeah, Chevra Kadisha. But why aren't we a Chevra Kadisha in a holy way? Chevraya Kadisha. Al shlosha dvarim ha-chevraya ha-kadosha omedet. Al hitchabrut chaverim, connecting between friends. Al ahavas chaverim, on loving your friends. Ve'al hizdabkus chaverim, and by clinging to your friends. Three things. Chibur, ahava, dveikut. So I want to ask you guys a question before we continue here. What's the difference between the three? Chibur, ahava, and dveikut. What do you think the difference is over here?
Connection, love, and loyalty.
Connection, chibur, love, dveikut is loyalty?
Dveikut means that you're devuk to something when there's a reason for it to be pulled away, but it remains connected. And that to me seems like a loyalty.
Okay, that's beautiful. Yeah. I'm not saying there's a right...
Maybe that's more like...
I want us to define it. There's no wrong answer here, right? I just want to see what the difference, because to me, what I had difficulty was the difference between chibur and dveikut.
Maybe one is you feel a closeness to somebody, but then the dveikut is more like you're really reliant, you're dependent, there's a dependency. One, you can feel close to somebody and not feel like you really...
But, and on the other end, you could also be dependent on someone and not really have a connection.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
Oh yeah,
It's
all
less,
the time.
It's less likely, but...
No, but that I actually see that happening more than not. Of people that think that they're, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People that's we're really good.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, it's like what Shimon said. That's what she
Yeah.
was saying. We all are huggy, loving people. We all want to hug and
Right.
love each other, you know.
Right.
But are we? How close are we?
Right.
Really, really there? Are we really that close?
Right.
I think you mentioned Tom earlier, so I'm just thinking how he always says like the people he's closest with, the people. Tom always, Shlomo brought Tom up, and since he's not here, it's good that we're talking about him because he brings so much to me personally. And I think,
To all of us.
But he likes to say that the people he's closest with are the people that don't need anything from him, and he doesn't need anything from them. But then at the same time, when one of those people is not around, he'll tell them when he sees them next time, it's just not the same when you're not here. So there is a dependence there. They do need each other. It's just in a different way.
But what do they need from each other? They just need dveikos. They just need to be in each other's lives.
They need that connection.
They just need to
But
be in
they're
each other's
dependent
lives. Yeah.
on that connection.
Right.
Not anything material, which is I think what he's referring to. But
That's what he said. Yeah. What do you think it's what the Piasetzna is saying?
I think Tom
Verbatim.
Yeah.
preaches this Torah all the time.
Yeah. David, you want to say something?
I don't know. I'm just wondering, somewhere in here is the feeling of when you're pulled towards certain people, but for objectively there's nothing there. Either, I don't know, maybe you don't have anything in common, or you don't have this, or you don't have
Right.
that, and you don't even like the person.
Right.
But for whatever reason, you're pulled towards that person. There's a
Right.
pull that's beyond anything that you really understand.
So what are you saying about is that something that?
I don't know if that fits in any of the
No,
three.
but
that you're-
let's discuss this for a second. I think that's quite often it happens to me. I'm pulled to certain people, and it's not for the right reasons. It's simple. It doesn't, and I get confused. I'm saying, well, if I feel drawn to them, it must mean that I have to figure out like and sometimes it's like, no, it's Hashem saying to you that if you really checked it out inside, you probably just love the fact that this guy is famous, or that this guy has good stories to tell, right? So that doesn't mean that the fact that you feel drawn to someone, unless you're a really clean person inside, like the work is done inside, it doesn't necessarily mean this guy is your key for the Chabura. And
You need all three.
I think what happened.
Yeah.
I don't know. There are guys in this Chabura that I have like things like life things that I share in common with them. But there's a lot of guys. If you look around, we come from like a wacky mix here.
Right.
But it's the things that we can't put our finger on, which is that we're Baruch Hashem, we're seekers. That's what connects us. Nothing material, and there's nothing like. If I would have had to guess who I'm spending most of my time with 3 years ago, I wouldn't have necessarily. I'm not saying that because I love everybody here, but like it's because you find out a new part of yourself that you didn't know was there through being together with a group, such as one that we're sitting.
Right.
We have the privilege to sit in, which is it's in here. It's not something that like. Back before you made Aliyah, you know, you'd be like looking, you know, who do I, the same sports team,
Right.
or
Right.
who likes to go out to eat, and it's a different,
right, it's not just about who likes Siennas.
It's not Louis B'Davar. I was on a date and I ran into one of the guys in the Chabura.
On a date?
Yeah, and I forgot his name, but I'm like, he's one of my best friends. I love him. It was earlier on and I really felt like I love that guy.
And she's like, what's my name? Right?
I'll get back to you. Yeah, but it was a really
You
interesting
sitting here right now?
Yeah, it was earlier on. It's
Yeah.
not such a big deal. But,
Right, that's beautiful. There's this, right. There's such a, that's what he's saying, like, I used to think someone's close. I know their name. I know where they're from. I know all those. I know what they do for a living.
Same thing for a living.
Right?
Like,
Right? And it's so like there's not one person in this room that does the same thing for a living. Almost, it's very interesting.
No idea.
The truth is, I don't even know what most people here do for a living because it's very interesting. Right? But there's one guy. I have to tell you, there's one person. Some of you know, a good friend of mine in Philly. Really special guy, really far out guy. And he's done amazing things for Yisrael, amazing things. He's very close to my family and I. He's brought us to be with him for Shabbos a few times in Philly, to spend time with him. And we had such a deep talk one Motzei Shabbos when I was there, saying, he just kind of put it on the table, he's like, you know, it's like really interesting that you have absolutely no idea what I do. And he didn't say it in a condescending way. He was just saying it like, that's what's so beautiful about it. And I said to him, and I probably, you know, I'm happy for you. I said to him, like, I'm probably never going to ask you unless you want me to ask you. It doesn't really, I feel something completely different than having to know what you're busy with, because that's not going to make me connect to you more. In fact, it might make me connect to you less. Not him, I'm saying anybody. Oh, that guy's a notary? He deals with he's a notary? I don't even know what that word even means. So the fact that I know that about him, then that means that, then what? Then what? So that's a very important thing that I think, if we now have to plug that into the 3 words of hitchabrut, we'd probably think is dependent on do I know what you do and what sports team do you like? And we see it's mamish not the case.
Common interest.
Right, common interest. No. It's not. It's something else. There's a drawing. Now the question is, where is it coming from? Where is it coming from? Itchabrut, ahava. Okay, alavai. We should continue to aspire that. Dveikus, what Tom said. When you're not here, something's missing.
No, I think he implies that. He doesn't say that outright.
I'm not saying. Sometimes he does too. But regardless, forget about Tom for 1 second. I'm talking about the general thing here. Is that I definitely feel that here now. What's amazing is like this past Shabbos, right? This past Shabbos was Gewalt. It was really special in Shul this past Shabbos. And tons of Ki Chevra were not here. And it was very interesting because I was going to Shabbos thinking, wow, it's going to have to be like, I just felt like people are picking up. People are just, you felt it too, Itamar. People are just getting up and realizing, yeah, it's, the elbow's not here, the heart's not, whatever it is, and we get up, we do it, we stand up. This is how it works. That's a healthy, functioning organism. That's how things work. And that's what he was aiming for. Ashreinu, continue. Again, al shlosha dvarim hachavra הקדושה עומדת, על התחברות חברים, על אהבת חברים, ועל התדבקות חברים. לכן, הגם שכולם יתחברו יחד, באהבת חברים, וכולם יאהבו זה לזה אהבה רבה, he's saying, as much as everyone has to love each other, great love, מכל מקום, ייקח לו כל אחד מהם חבר לעצמו. In the Chabura, each person has a personal chavrusa. שלפניו יגלה את כל מצפוני לבבו. Different than AA. It's not about getting up in front of a group and saying, hi, I'm Shlomo, I'm an alcoholic. It's those things, the secrets, saying that's from the Chabura of trust. No, that's your chavrusa. There's no inyan. Sometimes we make an inyan of, let's see who could pour out the most filth in public. That's not how it works by us. It's not an inyan. That's already the avoda. That's an avoda. That's with one chaver. That's when Cliff was here. Remember what he said? There was that moment that each of us turned to someone else next to him, and then that place of what holds you in VC, what holds you in victim consciousness. It's not about right now telling the whole world everything. That you have to find that one chaver for. Bein b'dvarim ruchanim, bein b'dvarim gufanim. Whether it's spiritual stuff that you struggle with or physical stuff that you struggle with. Da'agato v'simchato, his worries, his happiness. Nefilato v'aliyato. You don't just share it to your friend, to that chaver, how bad you are. You also are able to tell that chaver, I want to let you know something. I'm a gewalt. See, that's important here in the work we're going to do. It's not just finding a friend to tell him all the schmutz. It's a friend. Remember, Yossi, we did this once when we were learning up Kabbat Morning, and you really went off on this one where we were in a room and each of us had to. Huh? You weren't living here then, yeah.
That was an amazing year.
Where each of us went around and said, "Can you go around this table and tell something incredible about yourself to people without caring at all what anyone's going to think about you?" Yeah, we were learning the Anava Shir and Rabbi Yaakov Meir Shechter. So he's saying when you go to that place of the work with someone, with a friend, it's not like, oh, here's the moment that I could tell him how dirty I am, and then I'll feel so good about yourself. On an avoda level, it's to be able to look someone in the eye and tell them, do you know how holy I am? Do you know what I did last week? You're not going to believe this. I did so-and-so. Or I've done so-and-so.
It's harder.
It's so much harder than, the other way of, do you know that the way I talk to my wife, do you know the way I look at other people? Like that stuff is like,
why is it so much harder?
I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
You're afraid people are going to think that you're egotistical.
Right. When you share the garbage, it's like no one's going to be choshed me that I'm a Baal Gaiva. Right? When I'm sharing the garbage, like no one's going to suspect me of being someone that's full of myself. But when I share like something good, right, with a friend, that already is much harder because
I think it's something when you do something good, you can say, well, I did something good. But when you do something bad, you say, there's more of a chance you're saying, I am that badness. You know what I'm saying?
As opposed to identifying yourself with
negatively,
goodness.
That's our essence when we do something bad. So who's going to say, you know how holy I am because I did this holy thing?
Right.
But the general public does the opposite. The general public boasts much more than they admit their failures.
True. No, that's why we're talking about. Right. In public, yeah. Surface level, yeah.
The average person will boast much more than they'll.
Right. No, we're talking about when you go. Absolutely. We're talking about when it's not the general public, when it's like the vulnerable place, that place inside. Then it gets really hard. All right, let's continue with this piece. V'chavero hashomea yenachameu. The person that's listening will console him. V'ye'atzeu, will advise, counsel him. V'yesamcheu kechol ha'efshar lo. And will make him as happy as he can, as much as he's able to. גם בדברים הרוחניים יעצהו וידריכהו כפי דעתו ומצבו וכן זה לזה. Both in materialistic matters and in spiritual matters, there'll be an openness to hear counsel from a friend. When are you open to hear something from someone? Generally. When? When are you open to hear?
Them?
I think when you respect them, that's a key thing. What else?
When you're,
Do you have to love them?
To be okay with
No.
yourself.
Right.
I respected Cliff right away.
Right. Why did you respect him?
I don't know how to.
Because you
He
did.
just.
Because I did?
That's
No,
how
I
I
don't
felt.
know. He just.
Okay.
he
That's
came-
legit.
That's how I
He
felt.
came across as someone.
Right. He came across to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so
my own deficiencies, because he did look like a schlump, and he looked like he had his stuff together. I don't know.
Right.
Like maybe if he looked like he was a homeless person, I would have just dismissed him.
right. Do you know what Reb Nachman looked like?
Probably a homeless person.
Right.
I'm saying my deficiencies.
Right. I'm
I didn't
saying-
say it's
Like
something
Rav
that's-
Adis and
Like Rav Adis, that's a perfect example. Rav Adis is a perfect example.
He's a homeless guy. Right.
In a second.
He actually
Absolutely.
is a homeless guy.
He actually is a homeless,
Zusia,
but that's
and then
chosen.
in the back of the shoe.
Right? Right? נכון? נכון? ואם נשאר מן החבריה שאין אחד מהם רוצה להתחבר אליו לאוהב פרטי, and if there's someone from the chevra that there's no one that wants to have this personal chevrusa with this guy, מוכרחת החבריה ליתן לו אחד מהם. If you're a real chevra, then let's say everyone has that chevrusa for the personal stuff, but there's one person there that no one has volunteered to be there for him. He said at that point you have to find someone for that person. Okay, that's what those are the guidelines that he gave. Rav Klonemas Kalman gave to his chevra. You understand that last line? So look what he says here. We end up over here. Hadracha shel Rabbi Piasetzna. The guidance of the Piasetzna Rebbe here. מתייחסת לקבוצה שהתגבשה במיוחד כדי לעבוד את השם יחד. He's talking to a group that got together specifically for the purpose of serving Hashem together. Can you say that about the general concept of a kollel? No, it's not a judgment on a kollel. It's just not part. That's not the right.
They're there to learn together.
Right. That's an idea of learning together. And like people have asked me a few times, oh, you're starting a yeshiva, you're starting a kollel, and it's hard to explain.
A kollel could also do this.
It
That's
could, definitely. But it's hard to explain. No, not really. That's not what it is. There are plenty of amazing kollels. There are.
Like yes, but also no.
Yes, but no, exactly. ומשום כך, על חברי הקבוצה לדעת את הזכויות ואת החובות שמוטלים עליהם. Therefore, a group like this must know the privileges and the chovot, the obligations that they have. והדאגה לכל פרט בקבוצה, being concerned for each detail in the group, for each individual, היא אחת מחובות חברי הקבוצה. That's one of the obligations of the group. Just like there's the obligation to check in at whatever the time is, so too when someone's not there, not being taken care of, there's an obligation to take care of that individual.
Leave no man behind.
Leave no one behind. אך עיקרון זה נכון לכל קבוצה חברתית. But really he's saying this principle is true for any social group, any social gathering. קורה הרבה פעמים, אפילו בכיתה או שבט מאוד מגובשים. Who's Israeli here? You guys get up. How would you say the word megubash in English? Gibush. Huh?
Together, cohesive.
Yeah, man, good.
Yeah, gibush, chevra megubeshet means like a, what's that? A club? But a unified club, right? It's like a group that's together, that feel like they're together. Like any successful basketball team or any sports team, it's got to be a key element for the success is gibush. They're megubashim. They're together, cohesive. So it happens quite often in a cohesive group, a class, שיש מישהו שנשכח בצד, that there's one person that's left behind. בגלל שאף אחד לא ממש רוצה בחברתו. Because really, I don't think that I could go far with that guy. He's not really going to be a winner for my team. בגלל הביישנות שלו, due to that person's shyness, או בגלל סיבה אחרת, or because of any other issue, המצב הזה הוא בעיה. This is a problem. וזו אחריות של הקבוצה לתקן את זאת. And it's the group's responsibility to fix this. זה לא נכון לצפות שיהיה אחד בשביל כולם, ושכל חברי הכיתה יעזרו למטרות המשותפות של הכיתה, אבל לשכוח גם את הכולם בשביל אחד בחבורה אמיתית, ובגיבוש חברתי מתוקן לא עוזבים אף אחד. Now, I wish that if we started a shul from scratch, to be very honest, if we started a school from scratch, a shul. Well, honestly, if I ever was nuts enough to get myself involved in that too, school, but if we started a shul from scratch, this would probably be part of the membership when you sign up to daven in this shul.
A buddy?
No, that you take upon yourself that you don't leave anyone behind.
Does it have to be from scratch?
Huh?
Does it have to be starting from scratch? Why can't that be?
Yeah, because if there's someone here that's not willing yet, the davens here, that it's their nature is not to be the one that they're going to make sure that if someone doesn't have a meal, they're going to mitzchayev to take them home. They just can't do that. I'm not going to say, well, then you can't daven. But I'm saying, look, that's why I think that the Chabura will really spread forth into the shul. Like that's the purpose, where we live. That this mindset spreads into the community. והחברה בכוחה מיוחד יודעת לדאוג לכל אחד. So החברה, with its specific kochos, they know how to work and to be concerned for every single individual. So this is just a beautiful way, like Ahavat Israel, Ahavat Israel. Like someone from the Chabura, without mentioning names, came out to me last week and said to me, it's amazing the learning we're doing, Ahavat Israel, Ahavat Israel. No one has said hello to my wife on the street here in 2 months because she looks different. That's what he said to me. He said, and I know it's not anyone's individual thing, and I know sometimes we just get too caught up in how beautiful it is to learn certain things or how it feels just when it's us, the guys here. But we're not here to just implement the Ahavat Yisrael on ourselves, because by now, Baruch Hashem, maybe if we didn't feel so close to each other months ago, now we do. It's to see how do we take this and make it at homework at home? How do we do it at home? Now that's true about anything that you learn, anything. But specifically this very, very crucial and precious privilege that we have to learn these holy concepts. So with the koach of the tzaddikim, through the power of their words and the infusion of inspiration that they've given us for so long, you don't have to make a decision anymore, are you committed? You just look at yourself and say, I keep on coming back. I'm still here. I have to just look at where I've been, where I am now, to get a sense of who I am. Not only what I want to be, but I want to get a sense of who I am. Just look at the fact that we're still here, Baruch Hashem, for a while already. Now we're talking on 2 levels. One is just our chevra, and one is the world. Am Yisrael has to realize, like Rabbi Shlomo said, when a Yid comes into shul, Kol Nidrei night, and you talk about, why do we start talking about vows? What's the first vow? We start talking about vows. Why are we talking about vows as we begin Kol Nidrei? Because a Yid can come to shul Friday, Yom Kippur night, and if he's real with himself, he says, I'm so full of it. What did I keep from last year? What did I grow from last year? What did I take on from last year, Motzei Yom Kippur, that I swore? That Baal Chet I would never do. And how fast, already by Chol HaMoed Sukkos, I was down in the slumps again, right? And in a good situation, it's Chol HaMoed Sukkos, right? Usually it's already like, Yud Beis Tishrei, right? But like, let's say Chol HaMoed Sukkot, right? So Rabbi Shlomo says that's where a Yid says, look, I can't tell you that I've done anything, but I just know one thing. I'm back. I'm here. And that's how, Rabbi Shlomo says, that's how we start Yom Kippur. With realizing there's one subconscious vow that I kept, that I took on, that I kept. V'shavti b'shalom el beit avi, Yaakov Avinu says. I came back home. And that's a big one. That's a big, big one. And in fact, that's what enables a Jew to have the koach to really take on anything else, to take on more. That's on a general level, right? So like you look at Yidden that are here in Eretz Yisrael, you're like, what? We're all still here. For good or for bad, we're still here. It's like, I remember one time in yeshiva, one of the rabbis in Amiftar, his father, made a very concerning statement that sounded very left-wing. To many of us, it was very hard for us to swallow. It was very different than what maybe most of us felt. So, and he was in America. So, his son came up to me, he said, Shlomo, how would you feel if a right-wing statement was made from America? What would that make you feel? If a right-wing statement was made from a rabbi in America, would that make you feel better than a left-wing statement that's being said from here?
Oh, this is a Rav.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He called me. I don't know. He called me on he called us on our saying like, say what you want. You're here. You're here. So, on a spiritual level, like, with all our lackings and whatever it is, we're still here. We keep on coming back. That should give us koyach to realize that we can live the Torahs that we're learning. Because we're here because we want to implement them in our lives. We want them to be Dvarim Chayim V'Kayamim. We want these Torahs to really penetrate our lives. That's what we really wanted. We're not satisfied with just learning text. We're not satisfied with just getting high. We're not. We know that it comes down. We're not satisfied with highs that have lows. We're only going to be satisfied with commitment and with love. And right now, if we could take on one thing, we are committed to read what I'm going to send out tonight of the prayers, of all of our prayers. Let's just commit for that now, and to daven with the tefillahs that are going to be sent out tonight. That's the only commitment right now. That's what we're doing. We're going to be committed to connect to people's outpouring of their souls and give them the respect that it took them to take out what was in here and put it into writing, to share with us, to give us koach to connect to the midah of Ahavat Yisrael.
I'm having a lot of resistance about this tefillah thing.
I still got a few hours.
No, I mean, it's not that I haven't thought about it a lot and worked on it and written, but something about putting it out there, something about...
Your name's not on there.
Okay,
Like,
it's not even that.
Right.
It's something about, like, I feel like I'm writing it and it's a real tefillah between me and Hashem, and I'm now, I don't know.
I know.
Maybe it's because that's the share that I missed where you explained.
No, but imagine if, like, King David said, like, it's just, this stuff is just between me and God. Why should I?
We have it all. Maybe he had a few of us.
So save some. You don't have to. I give you permission. Just give us one. The other 18. No. Give us one or two. Those other 720 that you've been working on, that keep in the ranch. But the other two, just two. Is that cool? Okay.
You know,
Prayers.
he came up again yesterday at Shimi Shal Shudas.
Yeah.
He was reading from the Eish Kodesh, who gave practical advice. One is the Sichos Chaverim. Like, that's very practical, like sharing with a friend. The other one that he said is writing down your successes. And he was so funny. He actually said, not because you're going to become a famed author, like, as if anyone cares about your journaling, but the act of writing it down is like a certain act of ownership. And I think that's how he kind of described it.
We could get into this. I mean, it's not for now, but there is a thing of, like, we could all identify with his resistance. I have it all the time as well. I have that with Nigunim. Why should I tell this to anybody? This is my expression to Hashem. I have it all. So what is it? Because it's not about you at the end of the day. If it was about you, I would say don't. Even then I'd say maybe write it down so you could get to know yourself better. Because when you write something out and it's expressed, you get to observe yourself deeper. But I didn't ask you to write something so that you could feel good about yourself. I'm saying we're starving here. And it could be that one person will find their tefillah through your words. B'shem Kol Yisrael. It could be.
That's actually what happened a little bit with the Ahavat with me and Jeremy. I felt like it had to be the spontaneous, authentic expression thing, and he sort of thought it through and did it, and I realized that it's not just about me and my spontaneous expression. This is like a need that Yisrael has that goes beyond whether I'm in the mood or not to do it.
If it's really B'Shem Kol Yisrael, if it's really authentic, then another neshama that shares the same shorish neshama as yours will find will be, oh yeah, that's exactly it. And we got, I don't know if you saw it, someone sent me this email. to the radio station about the subject was revolt. Did you see it before Shabbos? It was just to me, and it was basically them finding their expressions over the painful situation that Am Yisrael is in by what they saw last week. So when it's really authentic l'shem shamayim, so like we learned yesterday in the Shabbos afternoon shir, in the chinuch shir, kol mi sheyesh bo yirat shamayim dvarav nishmaim. Whoever has yirat shamayim, meaning whoever is really saying what they're saying and doing what they're doing l'shem shamayim, their words are heard. Not just up that Hashem answers tefillas, but it's that when you're trying to do good in the world, people hear you. People hear. We were talking specifically about parents and children. Many times parents mechanech their children, but it's so much about them. It's not about the child. It's about them feeling that they're respected. But if you have yirat shamayim in chinuch, you're not thinking about you. You're thinking about what does my child really need to hear.
Authentic expression.
Mamish. It's the highest and the hardest too. So I give you a bracha to just go for it. Just it's not too much. It's not so much here. It's like everything we learn about Ahavat Yisrael. Let me just pour it out. All right, shikoach everybody. Oh, thank you.
The other one I took off because of the
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
This is right here that we have to fix. And you have the nakuda. There's people in the group that aren't there. We have to fix that. So I think it's,
Are you dead?
you shouldn't feel like the show has to go from scratch. Because it can be done. I think if it's important, it should be included as part of what we do.
Should always work.
We fix parts of the community, not push them away, and help to find a way to pull them in.
Absolutely. Deserve the Shem.
I want to tell you, by the way.